Hi and welcome to Fun Swedish. In our Swedish courses, we sometimes have homework. Sometimes our students don't bring their homework and come up with ridiculous excuses like, my dog ate my homework. But sometimes we receive homework that is so bad that your Swedish dog wouldn't even like to eat it. So today we're going to talk about the 10 most common mistakes that Swedish learners make and how to fix them so that your Swedish dog at least is tempted to eat your homework. So let's look at these 10 sentences. There's one mistake in every sentence. Let's see if you can spot it. Number 1. Can you see the mistake? This is a common mistake people make while learning Swedish, because in English you can say, I will go to Norway tomorrow, and it sounds perfectly fine. The correct verb to use here is åka. In Swedish we use the verb åka if we're going somewhere using some form of transportation. If you use the verb gå instead of åka here, then the Swede will image you walking all the way to Norway. Va? Ska du gå till Norge? It's a classic response that you will get. So to avoid that, only use gå if you're walking with your feet. And åka if you're going somewhere using some form of transportation. Or be on the safe side and use some of the other verbs for traveling, such as resa or flyga. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, where you can use the verb gå and it means more like the English go. But these are fixed expressions, like these ones. But in most situations, we think walk when we hear the verb gå. So again, the right sentence would be, jag ska åka till Norge imorgon. Good. Now the dog is a little bit more tempted to eat your homework. Next sentence, number 2. What's wrong here? I will give you 3 seconds to think about it. Here our student was trying to say, I think it's a bad idea. So the student used the verb tänker as think. And this kind of makes sense, because tänker can be translated to think. The problem is that Swedish has 3 different ways of saying I think. But back to the sentence, we should correct it to jag tycker att det är en dålig idé. Tycker is the verb we use when we want to express an opinion, so that's why we should use it in this sentence. Because my opinion is that it's a bad idea. If you want to understand this in detail, then you should check out our video Tycka, tänka, tro. Next sentence, number 3. Can you see the mistake? Here the person wanted to say, I know Anders, he's my friend. But in order to say that, we need to say in Swedish, jag känner Anders, han är min kompis. Again, in Swedish we have 2 ways of saying I know. One for knowledge or information, att veta, and one for knowing a person, att känna, which is the correct one in this sentence. Känna really means to feel or to touch. So, in a way we're saying that we have been in close contact with a person. We need to have touched a person to know them. That's why we use känna for people and not vet. So again, jag känner Anders. Han är min kompis. This will make your Swedish dog happier. Nummer 4. Can you detect the mistake in this one? Here the person wants to say 2 red socks, but there's a grammar mistake in this sentence. We need to conjugate röd to röda, because in Swedish, adjectives such as colors normally conjugate depending on what you're talking about. In this case, we're talking about 2 socks, plural. That's why we need to say 2 röda strumpor.
Oh.
Nummer 5. What's wrong here? Here Here, the person wants to say, last weekend I was in Paris. But in Swedish, we should say förra helgen and not förra helg. The rest is perfect in this sentence, but the right thing here would be förra helgen.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about!
We say helgen because it follows the word förra. Förra always requires that you use the bestämd form, definitive form. In other words, that you say the weekend, helgen. Again, conjugating based on what you're talking about. What is even more confusing is that if you want to say next weekend, then you would say nästa helg. Here, we don't conjugate helg in the definitive form because with the word nästa, next, we don't need to conjugate the word in the definitive form, like with förra. Basically, a crazy rule with very little logic that you just need to learn by heart. Let's look at next question. But before we do that, don't forget to put a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it yet, so that we can make more videos for you. Tack så mycket! Nummer 6. Here the person wants to say, today I will buy a cinnamon bun. But there's a mistake in this Swedish sentence. Can you spot it? Even though buying a cinnamon bun is never a mistake, the correct sentence would be, idag ska jag köpa en kanelbulle. What confuses many here is the Swedish word order, which is very different from English. In Swedish, if you start a sentence with a word like idag, today, which indicates time, then you need to put the verb directly after. Verb på andra plats, not the subject like in English. That's why we say, idag ska jag köpa en kanelbulle. Today will I buy a cinnamon bun. I know it sounds like Yoda is talking for most English speakers, but for us it sounds like you are talking like Yoda, with a very weird order.
In weird word order you speak.
Learning a language is all about seeing the world in a different way. What might be right in one language might be wrong in another. And most mistakes come because we're thinking in our own language and translating, instead of thinking with a new language logic.
Logical.
Nummer 7. What's wrong here? The person wants to say 4 blueberries, please. But instead, they're saying celebrate blueberries, please. That's something you can do as well, but not what we really want to say. The words fira and fyra are easy to mix up, maybe more when you talk. And that is because you don't do enough duck face. So start taking more selfies. When we say the number 4, we need to put out our lips and do a duck face. Fyra. This way you will get your 4 blueberries and also make the dog happier because now the sentence is corrected. 4 blåbär, tack. Nummer 8. What is the mistake? A hint. We are missing something on the A. Yes, 2 dots. In this example, we want to say I'm here now, but for that we need to say and write jag är här nu. Remember that Swedish has 3 extra letters that English don't have. Å, ä, ö.
Å, ä, ö. Å, ä, ö. Å, ä, ö. Å, ä, ö.
And these little dots on the top of the letters is not something that you can ignore, because it changed them completely. So remember, har, have, här, here. Nummer 9. What's wrong here? Again, we are thinking like English, not like Swedish. We were trying to say, come here now, but in Swedish we have 2 different ways to say here. Här and hit. Här is used when you're standing still, not moving. Jag är här, I'm here. Location. And hit is used for movement, like when you're telling someone to come here, moving to your place. So that's why we need to correct this sentence to kom hit nu. A perfect sentence to call your Swedish dog. Kom hit nu, come here now. Now your dog is so ready to eat your homework. Nummer 10. I would say that this is the trickiest one. At least the one that even my most advanced students struggle with. But luckily it's not that important. But it's still a mistake in Swedish. So what do you think? Can you spot this mistake? So here what they want to say is, today is the 1st of December. I guess that some of you might wonder if it has to do with the word order, because this would sound a bit weird to say in English. But no, this is actually a perfect word order in Swedish. It's not that, it's something else. Is it the det in this sentence? Can it be that? No, we need that det in this sentence if we want to say today it is the 1st of December. The det would be the it in English. But what is the problem then? Well, this sentence is actually grammatically correct. What is wrong here is the spelling. We never capitalize the month in Swedish like you do, for example, in English and German. We actually don't capitalize most of the things, only places and names, but not month or weekdays like you do in other languages. So the correct sentence would be written like this. Idag är den 1 december. December with a small d. I'm sure your dog is now thinking, this is starting to look delicious. Definitely something that I could eat.